The stars went silent. Not just quiet, empty. No signals, no messages, only darkness stretched across the void. Captain Mara Quinn stared at the viewscreen of the Vanguard, her jaw tight. Earth had never prepared humanity for this, never warned them. Then the first fleet appeared. Not one or two ships, hundreds. Alien warships, black as obsidian, humming with power that made human engines look like candles against the night. "Sir," her first officer said, voice shaking, "they're heading straight for Saul. They—" A pulse cut him off. The Vanguard shuddered, hull plates sparked. The first salvo hit like a thunderclap. Humanity had faced threats before. Pirates, rogue colonies, even AI uprisings, but nothing like this. Plot twist, these weren't just invaders. They were an empire, ancient, organized, merciless. And they didn't even know what they were about to awaken. Mara's hands tightened on the console. "Get every ship ready. Evacuate civilians. This is not a drill." Somewhere deep in space, the alien emperor watched, unreadable, waiting. The war had begun. Humanity was about to learn the cost of survival. Humanity had grown reckless. Centuries of peace, exploration, colonies scattered across the Orion Arm. Earth had forgotten what it meant to fight. Mara Quinn had been a fighter pilot once. Now she commanded the Vanguard, humanity's most advanced warship. But advanced wasn't enough, not against what was coming. The aliens called themselves the Zytherians. No one knew where they came from. All records older than 50 years were lost to war and blackouts. Only one thing was clear. Zytherians conquered systems without mercy. Planets turned to ash. Populations enslaved or destroyed. Human intelligence had caught whispers, but they'd ignored them. After all, humanity survived the vacuum of space. They thought themselves clever, strong. Plot twist, clever and strong would not save them now. The first attack on Mars was brutal. Orbital defenses shredded. Colonies incinerated. Humanity realized its technology, its fleets, its pride. None could stand alone. Mara's ship led a desperate evacuation. Civilians streamed onto escape vessels, leaving behind the home they'd built in decades. Her team, Lieutenant Rico Santos, tactical genius, haunted by the loss of his squadron in Titan's orbit. Dr. Alara Voss, xenobiologist, obsessed with understanding Zytherians, convinced there was more to them than war. Commander Jace Thorne, Mara's old mentor, gruff, battle-scarred, carrying secrets he wouldn't share. Together, they would uncover truths no one imagined. But first, survival. The Vanguard jumped through a temporary wormhole, emerging in a system on the edge of Zytherian space. They were not running, they were hunting. Dr. Voss scanned debris from a destroyed colony. These attacks, precise, calculated, they're not just conquering, they're studying us, learning us. Rico frowned. Studying, they're wiping out planets. How is that study? Look, Alara pointed at patterns in the destruction. Every world they destroy has certain anomalies. Energy signatures, biological markers, they're tracking evolution, aggression, strategy. Mara felt a chill. Humanity was not just in a war, it was part of a Zytherian experiment. Plot twist, the Zytherians had been observing humans long before the first fleet arrived. Every tactic, every innovation, every war humans had fought, they knew it all. Then came the first Zytherian communication. A holographic figure appeared, tall and skeletal, with eyes that glowed like stars. "Humans," it said in perfect English. "You amuse us, you fight without honor yet persist. You adapt, you resist, we will test you." The crew realized the horrifying truth. Humanity was a subject, a toy, an experiment. Mara gritted her teeth. "Then we'll give them a show they'll never forget." They began to plan, not just survival but resistance. The first human counterattack was small, a reconnaissance strike on a Zytherian outpost. They expected defeat, they got chaos. The humans used unpredictability, guerrilla tactics, hacking, makeshift weapons, every move Zytherians considered impossible. Plot twist, as Zytherians were not invincible. They were disciplined, but not creative, not emotional, not human. Meanwhile, Dr. Voss discovered something astonishing. Zytherians had a neural network linking their minds. They shared knowledge instantly. But their connection had a flaw. Emotions were interference. Fear, love, grief, these disrupted the network. Mara realized what this meant. Humanity's greatest weakness, our fragility, could be our greatest weapon. Then the shock hit. Zytherians weren't attacking out of conquest alone. They were preparing for war with another race, one older, one far deadlier. Rico stared at the screens. We're pawns, but maybe we're the only chance they'll give each other. The crew faced a choice: survive quietly or fight knowing the odds were astronomical. Mara's voice was steel. We fight for humanity and for our right to exist. The humans tracked Zytherian fleets across systems. Every skirmish revealed more. Humanity was learning and the Zytherians were noticing. Then came the breakthrough. Dr. Voss intercepted a Zytherian transmission, a recording of a council not meant for human eyes. The message was chilling. The humans are anomalous. Their capacity for empathy, their unpredictability, they may destabilize the network. They must be contained or eliminated. Plot twist: the Zytherians feared humans, not because they were strong, but because they were unpredictable. Rico shook his head. So all this time, they underestimated us. Mara's jaw tightened. Not underestimated, misunderstood. They never knew what it meant to be human. At the same time, Commander Thorne revealed a secret he had kept for decades. A hidden fleet, forgotten in a distant system. Dozens of warships, old but deadly, waiting for a command that never came until now. The humans devised a plan. A strike against the Zytherian capital. Not to win, but to force them to see humanity as equals, to disrupt the neural network that controlled their fleets. As they prepared, Dr. Voss made another horrifying discovery. The Zytherians had been experimenting with human DNA. Entire colonies had been subtly altered, made stronger, faster, more resilient, preparing humans for some future war or perhaps some twisted purpose. Plot twist: humanity had already been part of Zytherian designs. Some of their greatest heroes, unknowingly, carried Zytherian genes. Mara clenched her fists. If that's true, then we're even more dangerous than they think. The humans launched a covert infiltration mission. Ships slipped past blockades, silent as shadows. Soldiers and scientists worked together, combining brute force with intellect. Every human flaw became a weapon. And then they found it, the heart of the Zytherian Empire. A massive neural core pulsing with energy, connecting every Zytherian mind. Destroy it and the Empire would falter. But the risk? Certain death. Rico looked at Mara. This is it. We either end them or die trying. Mara nodded. For humanity, for Earth, for everyone who believed we were just fragile creatures in the dark. The countdown began. The assault on the Zytherian capital was nothing humanity had ever faced. Massive fleets clashed in orbit. Explosions tore the void apart. Ships spun like meteors, burning and breaking apart. Humanity was outnumbered, outgunned, but never outwitted. Plot twist: the Zytherian network began to falter, not from weapons, but from human emotion. The fear, the anger, the grief in Mara's crew disrupted the flow. Every human loss created chaos. Every act of bravery amplified it. Dr. Voss worked frantically at the neural core. It's sensitive to emotional signals. If we amplify it, if we risk everything, we can short-circuit their link. Rico's ship took a direct hit. Alarms blared. Fire roared. He grabbed the control panel. I'm not surviving this one, Mara. Make it count. Mara's hands moved like lightning. Every calculation, every maneuver, every sacrifice led to one point. One strike. One moment that would decide the fate of human civilization. Plot twist: just as the core overloaded, the Zytherian Emperor appeared. Towering, skeletal, terrifying. But for the first time, human tears, rage, and hope reflected in its eyes. Confusion, fear, respect. The core erupted. Light engulfed the capital, ships disintegrated, fleets scattered. The empire, vast and unyielding, faltered. But the victory came at a cost. Mara watched as Thorne's ship was caught in the explosion. Rico's signal went dark. Thousands of lives lost. Humanity had won, but at a price they would never forget. The void was quiet again. Not peaceful, not victory, just silence. Humanity drifted through the wreckage of the Zytherian Empire. Fleets burned in orbit. Colonies were abandoned, yet survivors clung to life. Mara's vanguard limped through the debris, carrying the weight of a galaxy that had almost been lost. Plot twist: the Zytherians were not gone. Scattered, fragmented, broken, but alive. Some fled beyond known space, plotting, learning. The threat would never fully disappear. Dr. Voss examined the remnants of the neural core. Their technology, it's incredible, but flawed. They relied too much on connection, on perfection. Humanity thrives in imperfection. Rico, recovering from injuries, added, "We turned our weakness into strength. That's human." Mara knew they had won a war, but not the future. Every system, every colony, every settlement needed rebuilding. Humanity had proven it could fight monsters, but surviving the aftermath, that was the true challenge. Plot twist, the genetic alterations Zytherians had made to humans were spreading. Some colonies were showing unexpected abilities, resilience, speed, intelligence beyond normal human limits. A new era of humanity had begun. Mara looked at her crew. "We've survived the impossible. We've stared into the face of annihilation and lived. But survival is only the first step. We need to be ready for them or for something worse." Across the galaxy, humans whispered a new truth. "We are not weak. We are not pawns. We are the storm no empire can contain." Weeks later, a transmission arrived from the scattered Zytherians. Not a threat, not a surrender, but a warning. "Humans, you are different. You are not what we expected. You have evolved. You are dangerous." Plot twist, the Zytherians admitted respect, and that respect carried a silent threat. Their empire might fall, but other powers were watching. Ancient races waiting for humanity to rise or fall. Mara realized humanity had become more than survivors. They were legends in the making. Stories would be told of their courage, their ingenuity, their willingness to sacrifice everything to protect life. But the galaxy remained a dangerous place. Every victory invited new challenges. Every act of bravery left scars, seen and unseen. Dr. Voss smiled faintly, looking at the stars. "They wanted to test us, but we became more than their experiment. We became us." Rico nodded, staring at the horizon. "And now, it's our turn to decide who humanity really is." Mara's final words echoed in every heart aboard the Vanguard. "We fight, we survive, we honor those who fell, and we will never let fear define us." The stars waited, silent, endless, full of unknowns, and humanity was ready. The galaxy had changed, humans had changed. They were no longer the fragile species the Zytherians underestimated. They were strong, clever, unpredictable, honorable, dangerous. Plot twist, every act of survival, every sacrifice, every tear shed in the vacuum of space had forged something new. Humanity was no longer just a species, they were a force. And the story doesn't end here. It never does. Every colony rebuilt, every ship launched, every alliance formed is another step toward a future the universe will never forget. Imagine the next fleet watching humanity from the darkness. Do they attack, or do they pause, knowing the cost? Humanity's story has only begun. If you loved this story, imagine the battles yet to come, the mysteries waiting in the void, the wars humanity hasn't even begun to fight. Plot twist, the next challenge will test us in ways we cannot yet imagine. But one thing is certain, humans will rise, humans will endure, humans will prevail. If you want more stories of humans defying the odds, strange alien empires, and epic space battles, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. The galaxy is bigger than you think, and we're only getting started. Your next adventure awaits. Humanity is ready, are you?